Welcome back everyone, hope you're doing well. Today guys we're going to be testing out Silent Hill 2, the remake on the ASUS TUF A15. We're going to begin with low, medium with DLSS, high, then high with DLSS, then high with ray tracing, and then high with ray tracing and DLSS. Starting off on low, and as you can see we're getting okay frame rates, nothing too special. The game doesn't look great whatsoever, kind of rubbish looking, looks like a port from the PS3. But so far I'm pretty pleased that at least we're getting over 60 FPS, as I have heard a lot of people complaining about FPS and performance issues. So I guess this is probably the best you're going to get for especially a gaming laptop. In a minute now we are going to change it up to medium, and it does stay around the same. It's a little bit surprising. I was expecting to get a lot worse, but it actually doesn't. Especially with DLSS in a second, you're going to see that the performance does improve over time. But I would have preferred a lot more frames per second, especially in a game that is so as big as this. Like a AAA game should be performing a lot better than this, but I guess this is what we're expecting nowadays. But anyways, as you can see now in medium, we are getting around 50 FPS, which is just about playable. 50 FPS for me is a bit on like just underneath playable for me, but it could be due for a lot of people. As you can see though, the game's absolutely stunning. It's very realistic graphics. The shadows look insane, especially the reflections. This is without ray tracing whatsoever, and already it looks absolutely stunning. Probably one of the best looking games of this year, if not ever. So I must say it does perform pretty well for what it is. It is on a gaming laptop, of course. Now guys, we're going to go into medium with DLSS. And to be honest, this was a lot more, much better experience for me. We're getting well over 60 FPS into the 70s. The CPU isn't getting too hot, sitting around the 80s Celsius, so I'm pretty happy with that. GPU's in the 70s at 96 performance percentage, so I'm pretty pleased with this, to be honest with you. Like, this DLSS on performance, which I thought was probably the best one for this. I don't really see much of a visual difference, so I think it's pretty worth putting this on, in my opinion. Now we are going to go up to high, and this is without DLSS. And in a second we'll put that on, and then ray tracing, and then with ray tracing with DLSS. This is high now, so this is the graphics fully maxed out. Everything's all the way up, and we're only getting 30 FPS, well 37, close to the 40s. So not playable in my mind whatsoever. It's very hicky, like it's just not playable whatsoever. I would definitely want to wait and like maybe put DLSS on, or wait for a update, driver update, or even just a Steam update, to hope that they can improve the FPS a little bit. But I must say, even medium looked great with DLSS, so it's definitely a playable game. In a second, when we put DLSS on, it does help the performance a lot. So right now we're putting on DLSS back onto performance, and as you can see now we're back into the 60s, which is way more than playable. So the game is playable in high, but I would have much preferred a more playable, steady FPS at high. There is no ultra, so technically this is ultra in case you're wondering. But as you can see, the game looks great with DLSS, so I think you're better off going with DLSS with this game. Like, DLSS, in my opinion, looks brilliant and is good enough for me. I know everyone varies differently, but genuinely I think this game looks fantastic with DLSS. And now in a second we are going to punt to ray tracing, which I think is pretty like unplayable, like, to say the least. 23 FPS is like abysmal. This is unplayable in my mind, absolutely atrocious. So I'm going to bump it up now with DLSS pretty quick, because it was literally just 22 FPS non-stop. Now, I must say, this is quite impressive, the fact that we have it on high, maxed out, with ray tracing, with a bit of DLSS. And as you can see, it's semi-playable. I could imagine with an update or two that this game could be doable with a high ray tracing with a bit of DLSS support. You could see yourself playing this and maxed out with ray tracing, which is quite impressive in my mind. Guys, if you want me to test out any more games, just leave it in the comments below. Like the video if you're new, subscribe.